observation and finding. Kama tumepitishwa mfano. Chair Lance, let's consult with the document. Just come, even the document is not there. Vice Chair Walter. Can we let's consult with your document. Please proceed to give a notice.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the report on Roads, Public Works, Transport and Infrastructure Committee on the vetting of Honorable Bernard Uhuru Nyobange for appointment to the position of Homa Bay County Chief Officer, Department of Roads, Public Works, Transport and Infrastructure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, Blue Economy. Chair, Trade.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, upon delegation, Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That this House adopt the report on vetting of one Mr. Patman Willie Inda for appointment to the position of Chairperson of Homa Bay County Investment and Development Corporation. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You beg to give a notice, eh?
I beg to give a notice, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Tony. Chair, Lance, proceed to give a notice.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give a notice on the following motion, that this House adopt the report on the lands, housing, urban development and fiscal planning on the vetting of Mr. Owino Hannington Day and Mr. Charles Obondo for appointment as chief officers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. You beg to give a notice. Thank you. Chair, Water, Irrigation, Sanitation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the Chair, I beg to give a notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the report on the vetting of Engineer Collins Onyango Obango and Dr. Maxwell Majiwa Omenda for appointment to the positions of Homa Bay County Chief Officer, Department of Water and Sanitation, and Irrigation, respectively. Thank you.
Thank you. All members, allow me to amend the order papers to read papers so that the Chair of Agriculture can proceed to lay the paper on the table. Chair Agriculture.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. I would like to lay the paper concerning the appointment of Mr. Omwanda, Chief Officer, Livestock Development.
Clerks, can you assist the member, please? We place the Chair, Blue Economy. Proceed, Chair Agriculture.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 15th June 2023. The report of Agriculture and Livestock Committee on the vetting of Mr. Bernard Okoth Omwanda for appointment to the position of Homa Bay County Chief Officer, Department of Agriculture and Livestock.
And proceed to give a notice. proceed to give a notice.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give a notice of the following motion, that this House adopts the report on the vetting of Mr. Bernard Okoth Mwanda for appointment to the position of Homa Bay County Chief Officer, Department of Agriculture and Livestock.
Thank you. Well done. Is the chair Blue Economy ready? Are you ready, Chair?
I'm ready, Honorable Speaker.
Then please proceed to lay the paper on the table.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to lay to the table of the House today, 15th June 2023, the report of the Blue Economy, Fisheries, Mining and Digital Economy Committee on the vetting of Mr. Jack Maurice Obonyo and Ms. Diana Anyango Ongere for the appointment of the position of chief officers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed to give a notice as well.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give a notice of the following motion for the appointment of the report of vetting of the chief officers, Jack Obonyo and Ms. Diana Anyango Ongere for the appointment of position of chief officers.
Thank you. Well done. Next order, clerk.
Order number 7, statements.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion. Report of the Roads, Public Works, Transport and Infrastructure Committee on the vetting of Mr. Bernard Ouru Nyobange for appointment as County Chief Officer.
Chair Rhodes, the floor is yours. You are aware that we have so many reports that we are supposed to table today. And the members, I want to ask for indulgence. You are part of this process. And the others is now for you to consider. Please proceed, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, this is the report of the Roads, Public Works, Infrastructure, Transport Committee on the vetting of Engineer Bernard Ouru Nyobange for appointment to the position of County Chief Officer. Mr. Speaker, I take this opportunity to thank all the members of Roads, Public Works, Transport and Infrastructure Committee for their dedication and undivided attention and contribution during the entire approval hearing. The committee also takes this opportunity to thank the officers of the Speaker and the Clerk of the County Assembly for their administrative support according to it during the exercise. I also appreciate the Secretariat, which indeed worked so hard to accomplish this, Mr. Speaker. This report, Mr. Speaker, was as evidenced here, adopted by the members of the committee, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Section 6 of the Public Appointments Act of 2017 and Section 7 of the County Government Act of 2012, Her Excellency the Governor forwarded to the Office of the Clerk the name of Engineer Bernard Ouru Nyobange as nominated for approval and subsequent appointment as the Chief Officer, Roads, Public Works, Transport and Infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Section 7(1) of the Public Appointments Act of 2017 and Standing Order number 195, the Honorable Speaker reported that he had received a notification of nomination of Chief Officer, Roads, Transport and Infrastructure. This notification was done pursuant to Section 6. And Mr. Speaker, Section 7(4) of the Public Appointments Act of 2017 provides that the clerk shall notify a candidate of the time and place for holding of approval hearing by notice in at least 2 newspapers of national circulation and writing of such other form of communication as the clerk shall consider. And on 26th, Mr. Speaker, of January, the clerk of the County Assembly invited the nominee through print media for approval hearing. This nominee, Mr. Speaker, was requested to submit copies of documents and credentials, which he did, Mr. Speaker. All legal guidelines, Mr. Speaker, of nomination and vetting and approval of chief officer, including Article 80C of Constitution 2012 and other articles were done. Mr. Speaker, Engineer Uhuru Nyobange appeared before my committee on 5th June 2023 at 12 noon and was orally interviewed under oath pursuant to the provisions of the Constitution 2010, the Public Appointments Act 2017, and the Assembly Standing Orders. The nominee made presentations both orally and in writing, Mr. Speaker. He presented all his documents before my committee, Mr. Speaker, and after interviewing the nominee, Mr. Speaker, my committee retired to write this report, and these are the general observations we had. Number one, that the nominee was competitively sourced and recommended to the governor in line with provisions of Section 45 of CAGA 2012, that although there was a petition by Evans Otieno Logor and Michael Kojo alleging that the nominee was not suitable on account that he was involved in a scandal of 2.3 billion while he was an employee at the Kenya Ports Authority. During the vetting, the nominee adduced evidence of clearance for the National Police, both National Police Service and Director of Criminal Investigation, indicating that instead he was a witness. And on this, Mr. Speaker, I want to implore this House to dig deep into the papers, the credentials that were laid before my committee, which are attached. The nominee submitted all documents, including that of good conduct from DCI and any other. Mr. Speaker, committee observation number 3 was that he satisfies the requirement of Chapter 6 of the Constitution, Kenya 2010, on leadership and integrity, having been cleared by the Kenya Revenue Authority, Kochia Ward, Homa Bay County, and does not hold dual citizenship. Number 5, Mr. Speaker, is that he has never been dismissed from office for contravention of any article of the Constitution 2010, and that his work experience, Mr. Speaker, exposure and knowledge in relation to the position he was nominated to serve in. Mr. Speaker, this is very important, and I would also want the House to mark it, that the nominee we are talking of today here has immense work experience, Mr. Speaker, and at number 7, the nominee was competitively sourced. The nominee has a wide academic background. This man is a full-time engineer, Mr. Speaker, and this House has always complained about engineers in this department. At least now, this same House is recruiting a full-time engineer to the department, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this committee also recommended that based on the evidence submitted during the approval hearing, the nominee met all the academic and professional qualifications. He also proved to be a good decision maker and has adequate problem-solving skills. He proved to be a selfless leader and manifested by his. Mr. Speaker, I want to inform the House that the committee recommended that the county, just a minute, Section 8.1 of the County Government Act 2012 stipulates that the county assembly shall vet, approve the nominee for appointment as a county chief officer as may be provided for in this act. Having conducted the approval hearing of Mr. Bernard Nyobange, he set a mark of 50%, and the set mark was 50%, and this officer scored 85%. Mr. Speaker, the committee observed strict adherence to Article 10, 201, and 232 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and in line with Section 9.2 of the Public Appointments Act, the committee recommends that Engineer Ouru Nyobange Bernard be appointed as the County Chief Officer of the Department of Roads, Public Works, and Transport, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And lastly, the prayer of the committee is that the Roads, Public Works, and Transport Infrastructure praise to this House that they adopt this report. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Who is your seconder?
My seconder is Mr. Honorable Odongo of Northward, Karachuonyo. Thank you.
Honorable Odongo, proceed. Thank you. Honorable members, Honorable Victor Obuyo of Wanchi, the Chair of Roads, Public Works, Transport and Infrastructure Committee, has moved the motion and ably seconded by Honorable Daniel Odongo, the pioneer member. I therefore propose the question that this House adopts the report of the Roads, Public Works, Transport, Infrastructure Committee on the vetting of Mr. Bernard Ouru Nyobange for appointment as the Chief Officer of the department. The question is proposed. Can I have your comments? Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this morning I want to welcome members through you, Mr. Speaker, back from report writing, which was done in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I realized, and today, all our chairmen, I think they have also learned that when they are told, Mr. Speaker, that during sitting days they are supposed to be in the assembly, as early as maybe 1.5 hours before the sitting time, Mr. Speaker. Today, all of us are witnesses that some chairmen were almost failing before us, Mr. Speaker, though that is reserved for another debate and day, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, maybe before I comment on the report, I want to plead with members. Today, we have close to 9 reports. 9 reports. And this is happening because you know of 7 and 7 I don't want to deep dig into that, Mr. Speaker. So we must dispense with all these things so that the other 7 may see the light of the day. So, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Victor has said it all. And I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the Chair of Roads and Transport Committee and his committee members, Mr. Speaker, for a report well done. Personally, I know Engineer Bernard Nyobange. Mr. Speaker, if you consider all his credentials, he is somebody whom, when given the opportunity by this House, Mr. Speaker, he will serve us diligently. I want to plead with the members that please, in this report, we should not even take 20 minutes in debating. I was seated somewhere there when Engineer Nyobange was being vetted here. That is somebody whom we should give this opportunity, like yesterday, Mr. Speaker, so that he may start serving us. So that is my plea, Mr. Speaker. I don't have much. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, thank you, Majority Leader. Honorable Michael Ojalanyani, the senior member.
For active debate participation, we will request that the report be put in our walls. Mr. Speaker, Engineer Ben Nyobange is a renowned Kenyan citizen who has worked tirelessly both the Kenyan government and Homa Bay County, and therefore there is no reason why members of this assembly should reject adopting this report. Mr. Speaker, this one man that will really transform the road sector, given the chance to be the chief officer. And therefore, based on that, I will request the members that we adopt this report as soon as possible so that he embark on his work.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nyani. But you are addressing that. Felix, the sergeant, can you make sure that the members have the report on their walls? Honorable Bobo Bondo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to support this report. I also want to appreciate and thank our chair. Honorable Speaker, I'm a member of this committee, Roads, Transport and Infrastructure. And Honorable Speaker, first I want to talk on the issue of the procedure that was followed with the committee. Honorable Speaker, all the due processes were followed when we were doing the suitability test of Mr. Engineer Bernard Nyobange, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is one person who, when was given time, Honorable Speaker, and documents, we realized that he was compliant of the Chapter 6, Honorable Speaker, the Chapter 6 of the Kenya 2010 Constitution on the leadership and integrity, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we realized that this one person that within his field is very relevant to where he's being honorable, was being vetted for, Honorable Speaker. And he has a wealth of experience within this field, Honorable Speaker. From the score card, Honorable Speaker, he scored 85%, and that is excellent, Honorable Speaker. With all those, Honorable Speaker, I want to implore with the members that let us, Honorable Speaker, adopt this report such that this good man can serve our county. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Bob. I'm not seeing any basa. Can I ask Lingua to reply? Honorable Victor Obuya, can you proceed to reply?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the members who have indulged in this debate. Mr. Speaker, this is a man of immense experience, and as the chair of the department, I know his experience will enrich the department. This is a man who has served with all his might out there. We need this brain back in the county to help serve our people. So, Speaker, I thank the House and only asks that they adopt this report. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. All members, I now put the question that this House adopt a report of Roads, Public Works, Transport, Infrastructure Committee on the vetting of Mr. Bernard Ouru Nyobange for the appointment of Chief Officer of the Department. Will as many of similar opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next.
Order number 9, report of the Agriculture and Livestock Committee on the vetting of Mr. Bernard Okoth Omwanda for appointment as County Chief Officer.
Chair Agriculture, Honorable Ojango Lazarus, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Agriculture and Livestock Committee on the vetting of Mr. Bernard Okoth Omwanda for the position of County Chief Officer. Mandate of the committee. The Sectoral Committee on Agriculture and Livestock is established pursuant to provision of Homa Bay County Assembly Standing Order number 195-5. General mandate: investigate, inquire into the report of all matters relating to the mandate. Specific mandate: the committee was specifically mandated to undertake the vetting of Mr. Bernard Okoth Omwanda, the nominee for the position of Homa Bay County Chief Officer for Livestock Development, as forwarded to the County Assembly by Her Excellency the Governor. The committee was to report back to the House within 21 days from the date of its first sitting to consider the said nomination as per the Speaker's communication number 25 of 2023. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the members of the Agriculture and Livestock Committee for their input and valuable contribution during the deliberation and vetting exercise. The committee also takes this opportunity to thank the offices of the Speaker and the Clerk to the County Assembly for administrative support accorded to it during the exercise. I am also appreciative of the Secretariat attached to this committee for their effectiveness and efficiency during preparation of this report. On behalf of the Agriculture and Livestock Committee, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 678 of the Public Appointments Act, County Assembly's Approval Act of 2017, and Standing Order number 195 of Homa Bay County Assembly, it is my pleasure and a duty to present to this Honorable House the report on the Agriculture and Livestock Committee on approval hearing of nominee for this position of Chief Officer, Livestock Development. Honorable Speaker, Section 57 of the County Government Act of 2012 established the County Public Service Board, which is empowered under Section 45(1)(a) of the said Act to make recommendations to Her Excellency the Governor with reference to appointment of County Chief Officer. In this case, the position for the Chief Officer for Livestock Development was competitively sourced by Homa Bay County Public Service Board and adhering to the threshold set when making appointments and provided in Section 65 of the County Government Act. It is against this backdrop that Her Excellency the governor of Homa Bay, forwarded to the clerk of the county assembly a message of nomination of Mr. Bernard Okoth Mwanda for appointment as the county chief officer for livestock development for approval by the county assembly. During the plenary sitting on 25th of May 2023, through communication number 25 of 2023, the Honorable Speaker notified members of the county assembly of the nomination of Mr. Bernard Okoth Mwanda for the position of chief officer in charge of livestock development. The Honorable Speaker, in his communication, committed the nominee to the Agriculture and Livestock Committee for vetting, approval, and reporting to the House within 21 days from the date of its first sit to consider the nomination. The committee held its first sitting to consider the nomination on Wednesday, 25th May 2023. On Friday, 26th 2023, the clerk of the county assembly placed an advert in the print media notifying both the nominee and the public on the intention of the committee to conduct the vetting and approval hearing on 2nd June 2023 at 4 p.m. From the foregoing, the nominee appeared before the committee on 2nd June at 4 p.m. and was duly vetted as per the criteria set out in Public Appointments County Assembly's Approval Act of 2017. Cognizant of the principle of good governance, integrity, transparency, and committee, has made observations and recommendations on the suitability of the nominee. Pursuant to the provisions of Section 6 of Public Appointment Act of 2017 and Section 45 of County Assembly Act of 2012, Her Excellency, the Governor forwarded the office to the Office of Clerk nomination of Mr. Bernard Okoth Mwanda for approval as the Chief Officer for Agriculture Development. Vetting of the nominee, we had to look into the following perspective. Legal guidelines on the nomination. Article 10 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 provides for national values and principle of governance that bind all state organs, state officers, and persons. Article 80C of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, as read together with Section 7 of the Public Officers Act, the committee held approval hearing on June 2nd, June 2023 from 4 p.m. and hearing was held in the County Assembly chamber and was open to the members of the public. Mr. Bernard Okoth Mwanda of ID number 109638 appeared before the committee on aforementioned date and time, was orally interviewed under oath pursuant to the provision of Constitution of 2010. The Public Appointment County Assembly Act of 2017, in conducting the vetting process, the committee examined the nominee against the following criteria, amongst others as set out in the first schedule of the Public Appointment County Assembly Act approval of 2017. Academic credential, employment record, professional affiliations, honors and award, potential conflicts of interest, knowledge of the relevant subject, and integrity. Is a Kenyan citizen born on 9th, 1971 in Gwase location, Gwase South Ward, Soba Sub-County in Homa Bay. We found him to be fit. The integrity. The committee noted that the nominee had complied with all the constitutional and statutory requirements as envisaged in Article 73 and Article 80 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 by presenting the following original documents: valid tax compliance and all the statutory requirements. We found that there is no potential conflict of interest. knowledge of the relevant subject, the nominee submitted academic credential to the committee that proved that he was qualified for this position, having worked in various institutions in different cadres. Based on his responses during the vetting process, the nominee was conversant with roles of counties, constitutional provision, laws, and policies related to the livestock development position. He demonstrated confidence, knowledge, skills, and experience in leadership and management, having held leadership positions in various careers. Committee observation. The committee, having considered the nominee field questionnaire pursuant to Section 7 of the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act of 2017, his curriculum vitae, and having heard his oral submission during approval hearing, made the following observations on the suitability of the nominee. That the nominee was competitively sourced and recommended by the County Public Service Board in consonance with Section 45(1) of the County Government Act of 2012. That the nominee meets the requirements of Chapter 6 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and leadership and integrity, having been cleared from ethics and anti-corruption, Kenya Revenue Authority, Director of Criminal Investigation, the DCI, Higher Education Loan Boards, and Credit Reference Bureau. The nominee was well versed with constitutional provisions and aware of functions, powers, and responsibilities as outlined in County Government Act 2012 and specific functions of the County Chief Officer in charge of livestock development. That the nominee was very articulate, and the interview questions, he was confident and had a good communication skill. The nominee is a professional and has demonstrated absence of breach of professional code of conduct. The nominee, having been vetted, the committee scoring on average of 65.8% out of 100, and which is above the average, and in keeping with the provision of Section 8(1)(a) of County Government Act of 2012, Section 9(2) of the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act of 2017, and Standing Order Number 195, the Agriculture and Livestock Committee recommends that this House approves the nomination of Mr. Bernard Okoth Omwanda for appointment to the position of Chief Officer for Livestock Livestock Development. My prayer, as Chair of the Committee of Agriculture, which comprises of 15 members, the Agriculture and Livestock Committees prays that this House adopt this report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you. Who is seconding you?
Honorable Monofloit Ondiek.
Honorable Monofloit Ondiek. Thank you. Honorable members, the motion having been moved by the Chair of Agriculture Livestock Committee, Honorable Lazarus Ojango, and seconded by the member of the committee who doubles up as the Deputy Majority Leader, Honorable Monofloit Ondiek. It is now in order for me to propose the question that this House adopts the report on the Agriculture Livestock Committee on the vetting of Mr. Bernard Okoth Omwanda for appointment as a Chief Officer. The question is proposed. Honorable Daniel Odongo, the senior member.
Thank you, Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to contribute in line with the vetting of Mr. Bernard Omwanda in the Committee of Agriculture and Livestock. Mr. Speaker, this report from the Agriculture Committee is a very good one, and I want to appreciate the work of the designated chair, Honorable Lazarus, for all that he did to ensure we get this good report with our secretariat. Mr. Speaker, Bernard followed all the processes and is one who was sourced very competitively. He's not handed this opportunity just as Bernard, but he was sourced among others, and that is something that must be appreciated. Mr. Speaker, Bernard has got a lot of knowledge in the issues of agriculture. He's somebody who has worked in several places. He even worked in Botswana. That one would tantamount to well-elevated system that has been proven beyond Africa. And if that one is brought to Kenya, and now precisely, that is Homa Bay County, Mr. Speaker, we are going to yield a lot from such a person. Mr. Speaker, on all the requirements, including the integrity test, Mr. Speaker, Bernard did well. He's somebody who is a law-abiding citizen, beyond working outside Kenya, but he has not committed any crime that could come out very clearly in the vetting process. Mr. Speaker, I would therefore call upon this House that in a line of agriculture where we want to enhance food security and animal development, let us put our feet together and support the adoption of this report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senior Pioneer Member Honorable Dongo. Honorable Susan Onyango, Senior Member from Guasi South.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity granted. From the onset, I want to support the nomination of Bernard Okoth Omwanda. But before I do that, allow me to appreciate the Chair for Agriculture, who has thought it wise to bring such a motion of substance, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Bernard Omwanda is a Kenyan citizen, a member of Homa Bay County, Suba South Sub-County, specifically Guasi Southward, Honorable Speaker. This is a person of integrity, Honorable Speaker. When given opportunity, I know very well that he will take Homa Bay County to a greater heights, Honorable Speaker. Just like my honorable learned friend, Honorable Donga, has said, this is a person who has worked abroad, Honorable Speaker. I know he will bring such brilliant ideas where he was working to this to the county, Honorable Speaker. And without much ado, I will urge the honorable members that we pass one Bernard Okoth Omwanda for the department as an accounting officer in the Department of Livestock in Agriculture. Otherwise, I stand to support the adoption of this.
Thank you, Ms. Susan. I'm not seeing any buzzer. Do I proceed to put the question? But before I proceed, I want to request the chair to give a reply. If there's any issue that he feels is not captured well, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. I would like to thank my fellow contemporaries, honorable members, for debating positively on this appointment. Bernard Okoth Omwanda, during the time of interview, I realized he's very competent, he's networked, and he can bring other connection outside Kenya. And if given opportunity by this Honorable House, so that he can be appointed the Chief Officer, Livestock and Livestock Development, he will add value to the people of Homa Bay, because he was very enthusiastic to learn. Even during the time of interview, he was very open for advice. And you know, in management, when somebody is ready for advice, he's ready to learn. So I'm begging this House and appreciating the positive debate, and I'm still begging all honorable members to adopt this report. Otherwise, thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Member, I now put the question that this House adopts the report of Agriculture and Livestock Committee on the vetting of Mr. Bernard Okoth Omwanda for appointment as a chief officer. Will as many of similar opinions say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinions say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 10, report of the Trade, Industry, Tourism, Cooperative Development and Marketing Committee on the vetting of Mr. Patman Owili Inda for appointment as the chairperson for Homa Bay County Investment and Development Corporation.
Honorable Tony, you are standing in for the chair.
Impartial, void of bias, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the vetting process of the nominee was incorporated the principle of fairness and natural justice, which would stand the test of time and space, as illustrated in the case of the case law of Republic versus the National Police Service Commission, 1 Daniel Chacha, 2016, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, the principle of national justice concern procedures, fairness, and the aspect of ensuring that a fair decision is reached by the objective of the decision making. The maintaining procedural fairness protects the right of the individual and enhance public confidence in the process, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Section 6 of the Public Appointment Act of 2017, Section 7 of the Homa Bay County Investment and Development Corporation Act of 2020, Her Excellency forwarded to the office of the clerk the name of one Patman Owili Inda, nominated for approval and subsequent appointment as the chairperson of the Homa Bay County Investment and Development Corporation. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Section 7(1) of the Public Appointment Act of 2017, our standing orders 195, the Honorable Speaker reported that he had received notification of nomination of Patman Owili Inda as the chairperson of Homa Bay County Investment and Development Corporation. This notification was pursuant to the provision of Section 6 of the Public Appointment Act of 2017. The notification of nomination was therefore referred to the Committee for Scrutiny and reporting to the County Assembly within 21 sitting days in accordance with the Section 9(1) of the Public Appointment Act of 2017, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Article 196(1) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 provides that the County Assembly shall facilitate public participation and involvement in the legislative business and other business of the Assembly and the Committee, Honorable Speaker. Section 7(5) of the Public Appointment Act of 2017 equally provides that One minute, Honorable Speaker.
Can he be supplied with some water?
No, I'm okay, Honorable Speaker. I took a lot of water this morning because of what happened last night, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Section 7(5) of the Public Appointment Act of 2017 provides that the committee shall, by notice in at least one newspaper of the national circulation, notify the public of the time, the place for holding an approval hearing as at least 7 days prior to the hearing. 196(1) of the Constitution of Kenya, Section 7(5) of the Public Appointment Act, the clerk of the County Assembly placed an advert in the print media dated 26 May 2023, inviting the public to submit petitions or memorandums and any other information in a written statement of oath on the suitability or otherwise of the nominee, Honorable Speaker. The advertisement indicated that the submission was supposed to be received by 31st May close of business, 5 p.m. Further, the advertisement notify the general public, the approval hearing, Honorable Speaker, in terms of Section 7(4) of the Public Appointment Act of 2017 provides that the clerk notify a candidate on the time and place for holding of approval hearing by notice in at least 2 newspapers of national circulation and by writing and such other forms of communication as the clerk shall consider appropriate. On May 26, the clerk of the County Assembly of Homa Bay invited the nominee through the print media pursuant in accordance with Section 7(4) of the Public Appointment Act. Honorable Speaker, in terms of the committee, through the office of the clerk, wrote to the nominee to collect questionnaires that was duly submitted on Wednesday, 31st May 2023. Honorable Speaker, the nominee was required to submit a number of documents listed here, Honorable Speaker, and in terms of Article 196(1) and 2 of the Constitution of Kenya, Section 7 of the Homa Bay County and Investment Development Corporation 2012, Section 7, 8, 9, and 10 of the Public Appointment Act 2017, Section 8 of the Public Appointment Act of 2017 provides that issues for consideration by relevant House in relation to any constitutional statutory requirements relating to the office in question and suitability of the nominee for appointment proposed, having regard to whether the nominee credential, the ability, experience, qualities met the needs of the field to the nomination being made, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in compliance with Section 8 of the Public Appointment Act of 2017, committee was furnished with a brief report from Her Excellency the Governor on the procedure that was used to arrive at the nominee. It was indicated that the County Public Service Board undertook the recruitment process, that the County Public Service Board shortlisted 10 candidates out of the 17 applicants for the said position of the chairperson. Homa Bay County Investment and Corporation the interviews were carried on the 2nd May 2023. After the interview process, Honorable Speaker, the County Public Service Board submitted 3 names to the Governor for nomination to the position of the chairperson as per the provision of Section 7 of the Section 7 of the Homa Bay County Investment and Development Corporation Act. Honorable Speaker, these names were 1, Patman Owini Inda, Dr. Victor Jaoko, who happened to be my schoolmate, and Nancy Ounda Dala. Out of the 3 names, Honorable Speaker, Her Excellency the Governor nominated Patman Owini Inda to the position of the chairperson, Homa Bay County Investment and Development Corporation, for vetting and approval by this Honorable House. The committee began its deliberation on the 25th May, all through the culmination of this report, Honorable Speaker. And this report will have the functions and the powers of the Homa Bay County Investment Development Corporation, one of which being to manage, to control, and to administer in terms of the assets, and also to determine the provisions to be made in terms of the capital and the recurrent expenditure and the reserves of the corporation, among others, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in terms of the requirements for appointment as the chairperson of the Homa Bay County Investment Development Corporation, as provided in the county legislation, therefore the committee confirmed that 1, Patman Owini Inda met the requirements of leadership and integrity as prescribed in Chapter 6 of the Constitution. 1, Patman Owini Inda possesses a minimum qualification of bachelor's degree from a recognized university in Kenya in the field of business, administration, financial management, and the working experience not less than 10 years in the senior management level, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Patman Owini Inda, the nominee for the position of chairperson, Homa Bay County Investment and Development Corporation, appeared before the committee on the 6th June 2023 at 8:30 a.m. and was orally interviewed under oath pursuant to the provision of the Constitution of Kenya, the Public Appointment Act 2017, the Standing Order of the County Assembly, and Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we also confirm that Patman Owili Inda presented both orally and in writing. One, Patman Owili Inda is a Kenyan citizen, was born on 1st January 1977 in Migori County. He holds a master's degree in project management from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, and he graduated in 2016. Bachelor of Commerce, Marketing from the University of Nairobi 2002, and KCSE at Kanga High School in 1996. In terms of professional qualification, he is a member of the International Council of Systems Engineering. In terms of employment and the work experience, Honorable Speaker, he is currently the managing partner and senior consultant with AMG Consulting from January 2017 to date, Honorable Speaker. He previously served as Regional Business Development and Sales Market Manager with Daewoo Corporation, East Africa. He also served as Relationship Manager, Medium Enterprise with Standard Chartered Bank between October 2011 and March 2012. In December 2007 to September 2011, Patman Owili Inda served as a Corporation Relationship Manager with Kenya Commercial Bank. He also served as a Loans Officer, Small and Medium Enterprise with FINA Bank between July 2003 and November 2007, Honorable Speaker. In terms of his net worth, was estimated at 12,600,000. In terms of integrity, the nominee is tax compliant as demonstrated in the tax clearance certificate number indicated there. The nominee provided a filled self-declaration form of leadership and integrity. This confirmed that no outstanding issue or ongoing investigation against him, Honorable Speaker. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the form is dated 18th May 2023, Honorable Speaker. The nominee has neither been charged in a court of law nor mentioned in any investigatory report of a parliament or any commission of inquiry for the last 3 years. The Directorate of Criminal Investigation issued the nominee with a police clearance reference and dated on 25th January 2023. In terms of the Higher Education and Loans Board, we have a certificate of clearance dated 16th, Honorable Speaker. I confirm that he is compliant in terms of integrity, Honorable Speaker. In terms of potential conflict, we as a committee do not see any potential conflict of interest. Honorable Speaker, past experience, that given the fact that he has experience over 20 years in the private sector, Honorable Speaker, again, in terms of how the Homa Bay County Investment Corporation, Development Corporation, in collaboration with the county government would give technical support to potential investors. One, Patman Inda indicated that the county government would be able to assist local small and medium enterprise in obtaining technical support for enterprise creation and development in terms of designing a production process, product services, quality improvement, which could be successfully done when the technical support was available. Again, in his submission, Honorable Speaker, one, Patman Owili indicated that there is a need to consider the possibility of signing memorandum of understanding with the Kenya Intellectual Property, the KEBS, KIRDI, and the university to offer technical support, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in terms of the submissions, based on his understanding of the incentive regime, we wish to report as a committee that he correctly stated that one, Homa Bay County needs to attract potential investors by providing tax incentives, financial incentives, and the like, Honorable Speaker. In terms of understanding the different types of domestic direct investment, Patman Owili also indicated that there is need for natural resource seeking investment, market seeking investment. Protect me from Honorable Ware saying I've summarized. This is a report of the Honorable House, Honorable Speaker, and is the chairman of the caucus.
Thank you, Honorable Tony. Honorable Ware, allow the chair to move this motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You'll have your comment when you'll be debating.
Absolutely.
And if you feel like softening it, you'll have that opportunity. Proceed, Chair.
You should go home if you start. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in terms of summarizing, in terms of the observations for the suitability of one Patman Owili Indah, the committee, having considered the nominee field questionnaire pursuant to Section 7 of the Public Appointment Act of 2017, his CV, and having had his oral submission during approval hearing, made the following observation, Honorable Speaker, on his suitability for appointment as the chairperson of Homa Bay County Investment and Development Corporation. One, that in accordance with Article 78(1) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the nominee is eligible for appointment since he is a Kenyan citizen. Section 6(2) of the Homa Bay County Investment and Corporation Act 2020 gives that one to be appointed, he must have a minimum qualification in terms of the academic qualification. One, Patman Owili Indah holds a Bachelor of Commerce degree with over 10 years experience. That three, that the nominee meets requirements of Chapter 6 of the Constitution, that there was no petition memorandum to challenge the suitability of the nominee, that the nominee is a professional and has demonstrated the absence of breach of relevant professional bodies, professional conduct or codes of conduct, Honorable Speaker. In terms of assessment, the nominee Patman Owili Indah scored 82.2%. This is good performance, Honorable Speaker, and I think it's important for the Honorable House to know. In terms of our recommendation, Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Section 6(2) and 7 of the Homa Bay County Investment and Development Corporation Act of 2020, Section 9(2) of the Public Appointment Act 2017, our Standing Order number 195, the Trade, Tourism, Cooperation, Development and Marketing Committee recommends that Patman Owili Indah be approved by this Honorable House and appointed as the chairperson of Homa Bay County Investment Corporation, Investment and Development Corporation, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in summary, as directed by Honorable Ware, that the Trade, Industry, Tourism and Cooperative Development and Marketing Committee prays that this Honorable House do adopt this report, Honorable Speaker. I request Honorable Paul Odok to second this report.
Well done, well done. Okay. Honorable members, Honorable Tony Otieno, having moved the motion and seconded by Honorable Paul Odok, the MCA for Game East, that I now therefore propose the question that this House adopt a report of the Trade, Industry, Tourism, Cooperative Development and Marketing Committee on the vetting of Mr. Patman Owili Indah for the appointment as the chairperson of the Homa Bay County Investment and Development Corporation. The question is proposed. Comments? Can I start with Honorable Ware? Please request.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for granting me the opportunity. First and foremost, I want to thank the Chair and Committee of Trade for having brought a very nice report before the House in relation to the appointment of Chairperson of Homa Bay County Investment and Cooperative Development, or Chairperson
one Mr. Patman Owili Inda. Honorable Speaker, just as Chair Committee has explained everything, according to this appointment, I rise to support that one.
Oh, what is the point of order, Honorable Ware? Just receive your seat. What is the point of order, Honorable Bobo Bondo?
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 27-3A, I would like to move a motion that this House extends its sitting time beyond 12:30 p.m. until all the business in the order papers dispensed with. My second is Honorable Majority Leader, Honorable Bendo.
Honorable Majority Leader? But before, Honorable Majority Leader, before, I want to request the members to refer to that standing order. If you have the standing orders. Proceed, Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, considering the Saba, in quotes, Mr. Speaker, we want to request members that we support this so that the other reports we may dispense with on Tuesday, so that members may join the budget committee in Kisumu for another 1 week before the report on the budget is brought in this assembly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, Honorable Bob Obondo, the MCA for Central Kasipul, interrupting Honorable Ware, who was on the floor, understanding order number 27-3. And I want us to read that. You said 27-3? Yeah. This is concerns with the House meetings. Number 3 says, notwithstanding paragraph 1 and 2 of the House may resolve, A, to extend its sitting time. And this must be done before 30 minutes to the end of time. So I think Honorable Bobondo is in order. I now propose the question. Do I propose? I put the question that Honorable Bobondo, rising understanding number 27-3A, request that the members do agree to extend time so that they finish up with the business that they have today. So will as many as of the civil opinion say aye? Will as many of the court of opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Okay. Honorable Ware, proceed to debate. So we have all the time to debate on the matters on the order paper.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I just wanted to conclude by saying that following the vast experience which we have learned in the nomination of this candidature, I want to say that Mr. Patman Owili is a citizen of Homa Bay County and has really qualified to take the position. I would support the adoption of the report. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Ware. I'm not seeing anybody. Honorable Samuel Okuma, the MCA for South Kasipul.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I support the adoption of Mr. Patni Owili Inda. According to the experience Mr. Owili has, we have seen it and we really supported according to how we have seen the documents, how we have seen the way he has been working to various places. So I thank all the committee members to support that adoption of Mr. Patni Owili Indah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Samuel. Honorable Alice Winga, the young lady, the MCA for Kabondo East.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. First and foremost, I will take this opportunity to thank our Almighty God for giving us this chance today to be in this honorable house. I will take this time to thank the Chair, Trade, and the committee members, being one of them. I will support the appointment of Patman Owili, being the Chairperson, Investment, Development, and Cooperation. If you look at the Patman Owili's academic background and experience, he is suitable for that position. Therefore, I will say Patman Owili can protect the rights of the people of Homa Bay County. I stand to support the motion.
Well done, Honorable Alice. I'm not seeing any buzzer. What's the decision of the House? Are you in agreement? So I proceed to ask the Chair to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I take the opportunity to thank the members of this House for their debate. Honorable Speaker, it is evident that one, Patman Owili Indah is a seasoned and strategic executive, looking at his experience and also aspect of his expertise in terms of project management and also business development. Honorable Speaker, this is one person that if you look at his networking ability, then it will take our county to the next level in terms of investment in our county, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, one Patman is very, is one of it's going to be the pioneer member of the Investment and Development Corporation. And it needs someone that is very proactive, and I consider one Patman to be very proactive in terms of taking this corporation to the next. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would request this Honorable House to go ahead and adopt this report in totality for one Patman Owili Indah to be the Chairperson, Homa Bay County Investment and Development Corporation for the next couple of years, and I think with under his leadership, then we'll take this county to the next level, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks and Saba, I beg to move.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Tony Otieno, for the elaborate way that you've debated and moved the motion. Honorable members, it seems as if members are in concurrence. The debate is exhausted. I now put the question that this House adopts a report of the Trade, Industry, Tourism, Corporate Development and Marketing Committee on the vetting of Mr. Patman Owili Indah for appointment as the Chairperson of the Homa Bay County Investment and Development Corporation. Will as many of similar opinions say aye? Aye. Will as many of the court of opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 11, motion, report of the Blue Economy, Fisheries, Mining, and Digital Economic Committee on the vetting of Mr. Jack Morris Obonyo and Ms. Diana Anyango Ongere for appointment as County Chief Officers.
The Chair, Blue Economy, Honorable Tom Raila.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for granting me this chance.
Please be unanswered.
I'm unanswered. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for granting me this opportunity to present a report of the Blue Economy, Fisheries, Mining, Digital Economy Committee on the vetting of Mr. Jack Morris Obonyo and Ms. Diana Anyango Ongere for the appointment for the positions of chief officers. Let me take members to the general committee mandate very fast. That the committee, the secretarial committee on Blue Economy, Fisheries, Mining and Digital Economy is established under pursuant to provision of the Standing Order number 195-1 and the general functions outlined in the Standing Order 195-5, which includes the study, the program and policies, objectives and department of the department, and the effectiveness of the implementation. Study and revive all the county legislation referred to it. Study, assess, and analyze the relative success of the department as measured. Thank you. As measured. Investigate, inquire into all matters relating to the assigned department as they may deem necessary and as may be referred to them by the House. Vet and report on all appointments where the Constitution or any law requires the House to approve, except those under Standing Order number 188, and that is on the Committee on Appointment. Make report and recommendations to the House as often as possible, including recommendations of proposed legislations, and to scrutinize the resolutions of the House on adopted of the committee. I'm taking them to specific mandate, and members, the committee was specifically mandated to vet and report to the House on the vetting of the suitability for the appointment of Mr. Jack Maurice Obonyo as the Chief Officer in charge of Blue Economy Fisheries, and Ms. Diana Anyango Ongere as the Chief Officer in charge of Mining in the Department of Blue Economy, Fisheries, Mining and Digital Economy. If you look, the list, the committee comprises of 15 members and the 3 secretariat. Then we have the adoption list is there. You can go through your digital. Let me go through the acknowledgement. May I commend members of the Blue Economy, Fisheries, Mining and Digital Economy for their devotion and commitment to duty during the deliberation and vetting exercise. Further, the committee is indebted to the office of the Speaker and that of the Clerk for the logistical support accorded to it during the vetting exercise and also all through the period of the production of this report. We also appreciate of the Secretariat attached to this committee for their effectiveness, efficiency throughout the vetting process and the preparation of this report. And on behalf of the Blue Economy, Fisheries, Mining, Digital Economy, and pursuant to the provision of Section 9(1) and 2 of the Public Appointment County Assembly's Approval Act 2017, Section 45 of the County Government Act 2012, and the Standing Order number 195, it is now my pleasure and duty to present to the County Assembly the committee report on the vetting of Mr. Jack Maurice Obonyo, in charge of Blue Economy, and Ms. Diana Anyango Ongere, in charge of Mining. Let me take members through the introduction, then I'll try to summarize, mostly because these reports are there. Then let's go to the introduction, and this report contains the proceedings of the Sectorial Committee on Blue Economy, Fisheries, Mining and Digital Economy during the approval hearing of Mr. Jack Maurice Obonyo, nominee for the appointment of the Chief Officer for Blue Economy and Fisheries, and Ms. Diana Anyango Ongere, nominee for appointment as Chief Officer for Mining, as requested by Her Excellency the Governor, and communicated to the House on 25th May 2023. Through a letter dated 23rd May 2023, Her Excellency the Governor notified the County Assembly of the nomination of Mr. Jack Maurice Obonyo and Ms. Diana Anyango Ongere for the appointment as Chief Officers for Blue Economy and Fisheries and Chief Officer for Mining, respectively. The Honorable Speaker, by communication made on Thursday, the 25th May 2023, conveyed to the House the message from Her Excellency the Governor, and the Speaker subsequently referred the nominees' curriculum vitae to the Secretarial Committee on Blue Economy, Fisheries, Mining and Digital Economy for the approval hearing. While referring the matter to the committee, the Speaker directed that the committee undertake the vetting exercise within the 21 sitting days pursuant to Section 9(1) of the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act 2017. Mr. Speaker further directed that the clerk of the County Assembly to notify the nominees and the general public through the print media of the time and the place of holding the approval for hearing by Friday, 26th May 2023. In compliance with Article 196(1) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and Section 7(4) of the Public Appointments County Assembly Approval Act 2017, the clerk of the County Assembly placed an advertisement on the print media on Friday, 26th March 2023, informing the public of the nomination, date, time, place of the approval hearing. As he also invited the public to submit any information, memorandum, petition by way of a written statement on oath that may have a bearing on approval, vetting of the nominees in conformity with Section 710 of the Public Appointment and of County Assembly Approval Act 2017. The memoranda were to be received on or before Wednesday, 31st May 2023 at 5 p.m. East African time. At the close of the submission deadline, the committee had not received any memorandum for or against the nominees' suitability. Then the nominees appeared before the committee on Friday, 2nd June 2023 for vetting, and the committee examined their suitability based on the criteria set out in the first schedule of the Public Appointments and County Assembly Approval Act 2017. In addition, the committee examined their academic credential, relevant experience, knowledge, and relevant subjects, on the leadership and integrity, and the committee paid due regard to the procedure used to arrive at the nominees. Any constitutional or statutory requirement relating to the office in question and suitability of the nominees for the appointment proposed, having regard to whether the nominees' ability, experience, qualities meets the need of the said department. Submission of the documents. The Office of the Clerk notified the nominees through the advert to collect vetting questionnaires as per the first schedule of the Public Appointment County Assembly Approval Act 2017 from the County Assembly Clerk offices and submit them back duly filled to the same office on or before Wednesday, 31st May 2023. Further, the nominees were requested to submit copies of the following documents and carry along the original on the approval hearing date: national identification card, curriculum vitae, academic and professional qualification or testimonials, tax compliance, clearance compliance certificate from Higher Loans Board, the result, then clearance certificate from the Credit Reference Bureau, CRB, certificate of good conduct from the DCI, and clearance from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, and any other relevant document. And the criteria for approval, hearing, and issues for consideration, and the committee was guided by Chapter 6 and Article 196(1) and 2 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, Section 7, 8, 9, and 10 of the Public Appointment County Assemblies Approval Act 2017, Section 7, 12 of the Public Appointment the County Assembly Approval Act, which provides that a candidate may, at any time, by notice in writing, addressed to the clerk, withdraw from the approval process, and the candidate nomination shall thereupon lapse. This is now the vetting of the nominees. The legal guidelines on the nomination of the chief officers, Article 196(1) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which outlines public participation and the county assembly powers, privileges, and immunities. Section 45(1) of the County Government Act 2012, which provides for the appointment of chief officers. Article 80(c) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, as read together with Section 7 of the Public Officers Ethics Act 2012, which provides for the General Code of Conduct and Ethic of Public Officers. Then Section 7 of the Public Appointment Act, County Assembly Approval Act 2017 outlines the procedure to be followed in conducting approval, hearing, vetting of the nominees. Section 8 of the Public Appointment.
And that pushes me to the committee's observation. The committee, having considered the nominees' filled questionnaires pursuant to first schedule of public appointments, that is County Assembly's Approval Act 2017, his curriculum vitae, and having had his oral submission during the vetting exercise, made the following observations. Now, one, that the nominee was competitively sourced and recommended to the governor, as outlined in Section 45 of the County Government Act 2012. Two, he satisfies the requirements of Chapter 6 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 on leadership and integrity, having been cleared by all the relevant bodies. That he has never been dismissed from office for contravention of the provisions of Article 75 of the Constitution, which deals with conduct of state officers that are adversely mentioned in any investigatory report of County Assembly or any commission of inquiry. Four, that his work experience, exposure, and knowledge in relation to the position he was nominated to serve is commendable. And five, that the nominee has wide academic background, being a holder of a bachelor's degree of science in mechanical engineering and a registered member of the relevant professional body. And he is also currently doing project management, which will be handy in delivering services. Six, that he showcased good communication skills and vast knowledge on the topical issues during the oral vetting. Seven, that he was presentable as he exhibited promptness, neatness of his resume. Eight, that he proved to be a good decision maker and has adequate problem-solving skills. He proved to be a selfless leader, as manifested by his immense contribution and support to the development of various projects he has undertaken in Homa Wasco. Lastly, he is a strategic thinker and is concerned with the growth, development, and welfare of the people of Homa Bay County, as demonstrated by his skillful contribution. Nominee, I'm through with the first nominee and moving to the second nominee, that is Dr. Maxwell Majiwa Omenda, for the position of Chief Officer, Department of Irrigation. He also appeared before the committee from on 5th June from 10:30. And in terms of academics, Dr. Maxwell has a PhD usually we refer to it as permanent head damage, but I think this is PhD, this is a doctor of philosophy. So he has a PhD in pathology, he has a master's in philosophy, and a number of certificates. But the basic degree he has in biomedical technology from Maseno University. And from Maseno University, we must remember that it is biomedical technology with IT. He did his secondary school from Mandingo, Opanga, and then he also did his primary school from Mandingo. He did his secondary school from Mandingo, Opanga Secondary School, and primary from Mandingo, Opanga Primary School. He has vast work experience, which is coming to 12 years, shared among AMPATH, KEMRI, Case of Western Reserve University, and UON, that is University of Nairobi, where he was working for a project between UON and University of Washington. Professional association and membership, the nominee reported belonging to the following associations. He is a member of the International Society of Vaccines. This would be very valuable for us, and especially in this time of COVID-19, and now with the new variant. International Institute of Biomedical Science, American Society of Microbiology, Kenya Biomedical Association, American Association of Advanced Science. He indicated there was no potential conflict, and his knowledge in the subject is well versed, and being that he is going to work in irrigation, his skills in handling these microbes will be an added advantage to this county, Mr. Speaker, sir. He has honors and awards, which we can read through when you refer to page 25. In terms of integrity, he's complied to chapter 6 of the Constitution, and he has all the details, that is the references from each and every relevant organization. His net worth, he calculated and was coming to about 12 million. Now, in terms of assessment, the committee assessed, and over and above Maxwell, in terms of averaging, he scored 75%, and this, in the old days, would account for distinction. Now, the committee has these general observations to make, that the committee, having considered the nominees, filled questionnaires pursuant to first schedule of public appointments, County Assembly Approval Act 2017, his curriculum vitae, and having had his oral submission, now the committee is giving this recommendation that the nominee was competitively sourced and recommended to the governor, that he satisfies the requirements of Chapter 6, that he has never been dismissed from office for contravening the provisions of Article 75 of the Constitution of Kenya, that his work experience and exposure is commendable, and that this nominee has a PhD, which the committee feels would translate into good services to the people of Homa Bay. He had good communication skills, and that he also presented good decision-making and problem-solving skills, especially when he explained about his role in the Oluch Kimira irrigation scheme. Now, after looking at the two nominees, in consonance with Section 9, Part 2A of the Public Appointments Act 2017, the committee recommends that this House approves the nomination of Engineer Collins Onyango Bango for the position of Chief Officer in charge of water and Sanitation, and the approval of Dr. Maxwell Majiwa Omenda for the position of Chief Officer in charge of irrigation. Mr. Speaker, having conducted the approval hearing where the committee set a pass mark of 50% for the nominees, the two having passed with 82% and 75% respectively. This is above the set mark, over and above the set mark. So the committee, the sectoral committee on water, I wish to give this prayer on behalf of the sector, that the sectoral committee of water, irrigation, sanitation, environment, energy, forestry, and climate change prays that this honorable house adopts this report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well done, Chair. Who is seconding your motion?
I want to welcome Honorable Florence Ouma to second the motion.
Honorable Florence, proceed.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for granting me this opportunity. I also want to thank my chair for that exemplary presentation of the two candidates, where we have Engineer Collins Obango and Dr. Omenda. Honorable Speaker, I had the opportunity to sit in the plenary while we were vetting the two candidates. If I start with Honorable Collins Obango, Engineer Collins Obango, I must say that I want to thank the Public Service Board for having gone through the so many, over 70 applicants, to have come up with him as the most preferable candidate. As we were vetting the nominee, Mr. Speaker, it is good to note that this nominee is homegrown, and we are nominating him to be in charge of the Department of Water. Mr. Speaker, the nominee at the moment works at Homa Wasco, and having been working under that department and being homegrown, I was made to believe through his presentation that he really understands what the public needs. As representatives of the public, we need to give them someone who is competent and up to the task in delivering what we need. So he understands it in and out. And Mr. Speaker, it's also important to note that the nominee comes from Homa Bay Town Central Ward, and has been doing good work. I thank God I'm seeing our Honorable Deputy Majority nodding her head, noting that what I'm saying is very factual. Mr. Speaker, even from his presentation, he really knows what is ahead of him. And we are praying that he carries it to the latter. When we come to Dr. Omenda, Mr. Speaker, we went through his CV, and personally, I asked him if he has had, because we have one major irrigation scheme in the county, and that is Oluch Kimera. I asked him if he has had a personal touch with the institution, which he gave out clearly, and he demonstrated out clearly, and we were able to see that at least he has interest in that department. Other than qualification, Mr. Speaker, if we have a hands-on person, we'll be able to extract one of the best. So I join in into the detailed presentation that my chair has given out, and join the House in asking the members to really support this. I therefore second the motion. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Walter Adongo for moving the motion and seconded by Honorable Florence Ouma. Honorable members, I therefore propose the question that this House adopt a report of the Water, Irrigation, Sanitation, Environment, Energy, Forestry, and Climate Change Committee on the vetting of Mr. Collins Onyango Bango and Mr. Maxwell Majewa for appointment as county chief officers. The questions proposed. Comments? Honorable Monofloe Tundiek.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to concur with the chair and the seconder of the motion. And before I do that, I want to thank you for this opportunity. The two gentlemen who have been proposed for the chief officers in that department are all equal to the task. Personally, I want to say that when they were being vetted, I was here. I sat down, although I was a friend of the committee. But what I realized is that the two gentlemen are able to do the task that we are laying before them. Particularly, Engineer Obango really wanted to get this post. And in fact, he just didn't want to get it, but he promised that should he be given the post, he's going to display the expertise that he has in him concerning water. And that is exactly what people of Homa Bay are yearning for. Otherwise, I want to say that I also want to beg that my colleagues let us second the adoption of this report. Let us all see to it that these two gentlemen are given the task so that we can approve or disapprove them when it comes to the work that we are putting ahead of them. Otherwise, thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Monofloe Tundiek, the MCA for Homa Bay Central. Honorable Bobo Bondo, the MCA for Central Kasipul.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to applaud the chair for the good presentation. Honorable Speaker, I want to also join my colleagues in supporting the adoption of this report. Honorable Speaker, if we realize from the report that Engineer Obango Collins, Honorable Speaker, and Dr. Maxwell Majewa, Honorable Speaker, when they were being vetted on the parameters of communication, Honorable skills, Honorable Speaker, they really excelled high, Honorable Speaker, on the relevance towards the job, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, these two gentlemen, Honorable Speaker, were too relevant to the jobs. And on the presentation, Honorable Speaker, before the committee, Honorable Speaker, on the promptness and the neatness, Honorable Speaker, they excelled high, Honorable Speaker. With those, Honorable Speaker, I also support the adoption of this report. Thank you.
Honorable Samuel Lieta.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to actually support the report table before this committee on the vetting of the chief officer. Mostly, Mr. Bango, who I know, having worked at Homawasco, a very diligent person, a person of integrity, a person who went out of his way to respond to issues even when he was at Homawasco that were arising. And therefore, I believe with his prowess in handling the water issues, he's capable of handling this ministry. His engineering, his course, his profession that is actually undertaken is also an added value to the ministry, which I believe with the water issues that we have in Homa Bay, he may be able to be in a position to change the trend that is in Homa Bay. I beg to support this motion, but I also want, Honorable Speaker, to actually put my prayers with the Honorable Member Owaka, who is actually hospitalized for having got an accident. I pray for him, and I believe the House will also pray for him for quick recovery and later joining our House, because he has been a debater and a better person for this House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well done for the reminder that you've done to the members. But I believe the members have been praying for Honorable Waka. I normally see in that wall of the assembly. Now that I'm not seeing any member wishing to debate, do I call upon the chair to give, to respond? Chair, water, environment, sanitation, agri, the long ministry, irrigation, environment. Honorable Adongo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I want to applaud my fellow colleagues for ably debating and ably accepting that this report may be adopted. Just to bring to our attention that this is one department with the longest name. As Mr. Speaker, you are struggling to bring it on board, and you've done it right this time around. It has a number of departments, but it's one department that is now going to be blessed, and especially that now we are having the CEC of the department holds a PhD. I hope this is in public domain. Then now we are bringing an engineer on board. That is, issues of water and engineering related issues are going to be handled. And thanks that he has 7 years working for Homawasco, and additionally, he's doing his master's in project management. This is going to be handy for the people of Homa Bay. And we have the second nominee, that is Dr. Maxwell, who also has a PhD, and his PhD is in biopathology. I know I may use diagrams to explain this, but he has 12 years experience in that work, and this to me is going to be very handy also for the people of Homa Bay as he manages irrigation. So my prayer still remains that we adopt the report and have the two confirmed as substantive chief officers for the respective departments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Adongo, for the elaborate explanations in the times when you're moving the motion. Honorable members, having heard the comments of the members of this House based on the report presented by the chair, I therefore put the question that this House adopt a report of the Water, Irrigation, Sanitation, Environment, Energy, Forest, and Climate Change Committee on the vetting of Mr. Collins Onyango Bango and Mr. Maxwell Majewa for the appointment as county chief officers. Will as many as the same opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the content opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order, clerk.
Order number 14, adjournment.
Honorable members, this House stands adjourned to Tuesday, the 20th of June, 2023 at 2:30 p.m. Thank you.